Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because what these people are doing is awful all the way around. So just, it's terrible. And please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The tide is out today. They walk the island for you. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold, and I will cover them in a bit. First things first, guys. Let's get right into this. The job market is a real problem right now. It is anticipated that there are close to 6 million jobs that are out there that are being offered. And what we're learning right now is that the majority of these jobs don't even exist. They're fake, which there was a great article out of the Wall Street Journal. Sandra Dow started to look for a job and she had applied at 260 different places, sent her resume out, and had applied at 260 different businesses, and started to feel that this was suspect and that these jobs didn't even exist. She finally got 5 callbacks, and as she started reaching out, she reached out to the Wall Street Journal and they interviewed her saying this is all bogus. So what they've determined is that 20% of all the job listings right now are fake. 1 in 5. And sometimes companies will list them because HR has to do something. So they list the resume, save the resumes, and don't do anything with them, which is terrible right now. People are hurting right now. People need to work. People need a job, but nothing is worse than waiting. Now, here's the thing. That's why I'm talking about this. She got a job through networking and through different means. She didn't use a traditional recruiter. She just went out through friends. This is what I do, and showed up at places and finally got her replacement job. I'm telling you guys, right now, you have to do different things right now to get a job. You just cannot do status quo and send your resume out. And I think it's great. My son told him and given him the advice of showing up, doing something different, dropping the resume off instead of mailing it, so they can see that you're a handsome young man and that you can talk and things like that. Oh, great idea. That got him a job. So, this is terrible right now. You know what? I just think that there's a place in hell for these people. I really do, for doing this stuff. And there's a few examples of this in this video that are just crazy, that it's like weird. You get themes for videos where all of a sudden the news is bad, unscrupulous people, things like this. The next one is AllState. AllState, the insurance carrier, is getting sued by the Attorney General of Texas. Ken Paxton is suing AllState because what they've done is, through their app, they have gone out and they have raised people's insurance rates to the moon because of how you drive. They know if you're speeding. They know if you brake check a lot. And I have a friend of mine who got an insurance policy with Progressive, and she said, you should get that app because they tell you, hey, if you get our app, we're going to follow you. We're going to follow your driving. Now, then they rate you, and they gave her a B, and she's like, a B? How did I get a B? Well, you slam on your brakes too quick. You took off from the intersection too fast. Do you want anybody following you? How about, I drive so much, guys. It's nobody's business what I'm doing behind the wheel of the car. So you want this? Fine. Sign up for it. But where AllState is in huge trouble is that they never told anybody that they were doing this. They sold the data from all these people and took all that personal information, driving habits, where you go, everything like that. Sold it to places like Gas Buddy and all these different apps that are out there. So, again, they're going to get in a lot of trouble for this, and nobody wants that. Insurance companies are just so terrible lately. It's awful. But you can sit there and think that this is no big deal. But wouldn't you want to know the driving habits of a 35-year-old that lives in Tulsa and does X, Y, and Z? Or let's just use Texas for that matter. How you drive, what you do. You don't think that would interest people? Damn right it would interest people. It's crazy how bad it is. So they're getting sued for this, rightfully so. again, I think it's awful that they do stuff like this. And if you don't sign up for it, it's none of their business. Your privacy is everything right now. So we've covered so many different stories on this channel about how data's been stolen and things have been sent out that shouldn't be sent out, and people's medical records and all these different things that just are something that we never wanted. AllState, we never wanted this. So remember that. Okay? Let me know what you think about this so far. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. We're just a few days away from a new administration, but one thing that is crystal clear is around the world we're seeing major changes. All the business people that I talk to out of the country are very excited, but they tell people to protect themselves. And what you can do financially is get yourself into physical gold and silver. The best place to do that is Patriot Gold Group. Call them today, 888-330-1431. Number one rated for very good reason, guys. Contact Patriot Gold Group today. And if IRAs, 401ks that are backed by precious metals, contact them. Find out how you can secure your retirement and make sure you're going to be protected if the stock market takes a dump, which it's going to. And, think about this. All these different municipalities, all these different countries, all these different central banks have stepped up their gold purchases for a very good reason. You don't want to be hung out to dry or shipwrecked like this guy. Okay? Contact Patriot Gold Group today, 888-330-1431. Do it now before it's too late. Wow, how times have changed. The first week of January every year is something that's incredibly important in the medical space, biotech, and that is the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. And, Jamie Dimon himself is there every year. He was on 60 Minutes this weekend talking about how he knew Donald Trump was going to win. Okay, yeah, right. Anyways, one thing that's fascinating is this conference is huge for the medical space. I have only known 3 people that have actually gone to this conference that were actually in there. Everybody else, like me, would go to one of the satellite events. There were over 20 every year. And we would go to these different cocktail parties to make connections for my events and for my directory and everything I was doing. But one night, my friend Rand and I, in 2019, we went to 11 of these conferences and got the badges, did everything. We always talked about how, God, we didn't get the even dozen. And even though we snuck into a couple different places, we just never got the badges for them, and it didn't count. But now, what you're having is there have been 11 major companies that have dropped out of this conference because of the United Healthcare situation with the CEO that had a problem a few weeks back. And Cigna, Centene, and Walgreens dropped out this week. So there's 11 companies that aren't going to participate in this. Again, this is going to revolutionize and change this industry forever. You will not have these executives show up in public ever again. And San Francisco is an unsafe hellhole. It's what the definition of an S-hole is. Okay, it's horrible, and it was so unsafe the last few times, and progressively it got worse going to those events. And the last 2 years were awful. The last year was the worst, and I vowed we'd never go back, and COVID hit. So lucky me. Okay, so again, it's going to change everything. A place in hell. The landlords in Los Angeles, there is a rule, as of in California right now, that if I rent to you and you move out, you cannot raise the rent more than 10%. That's what the rule is. There is a state attorney general, Rob Bonta, who is saying, wait a second, people are ignoring the law. Can you imagine that? You've got people that were renting houses for $2,900 a month. And there is a great strength in community, remember that. Renting things for $2,900 a month, now they're $5,900 a month. You have mansions that people are fighting for right now that 2 weeks ago listed for $29,500, now they're $39,500. Here is the thing. When you have someone who's got millions of dollars and they live in one of those $8 or $10 million houses, your kid's displaced, and you can rent one of these houses, it's terrible to think that these guys would just pay anything to live there. And sure enough, that's what it looks like they're doing, because there's a lot of examples. Read the story below. All these people are breaking the law. There was, with AI, and for those of you that have not heard the Mike Adams interview, I'll leave the link below again. Mike Adams, the health ranger, is doing all these different things with AI. It's incredible, the AI learning. But what they've done is they've taken all the listings for all the rental units in Los Angeles around the fire zone and determined that 400, they're jacking the prices up on the rent. Is that insane, guys? 400 people breaking the law. We don't care. We don't care. You know, normally 16,500, 21,500. Wow, and get paid for this right now. That's what they're thinking. Now, this is a misdemeanor. You guys could face a year in jail. That's what Rob Bonta said. So we'll see if he starts arresting these donors and these people that did this, because, again, insert profanity here. It's terrible that these people are doing this. And once again, you're going to see people that are going to have to move out of the area. You're going to see people that are going to have to liquidate and sell everything. And it's nothing that's fair. It is not even remotely, good. And everybody is taking advantage of all these poor people. But, I know someone's out. I know there's people that are going to write me and say, hey, if some guy can afford $29,000 a month in rent, he can afford $39,000 a month in rent. Whatever, guys. The law is the law when it comes to this stuff. And again, if it were you, you'd feel differently. But these poor people, 4,000, now it's 5,500. We just saw the list and we wanted to see this place. And with the fires, we didn't want to bug you. Now it's $5,500. It's terrible. Somebody did a spreadsheet on this stuff and a Google Doc. And these people are going to get in trouble someday, eventually, let's hope. But again, a place in hell, with AllState, okay? Let me know your thoughts on that. And they're saying that the real estate market has two problems in Florida. And the first one is the fact that you've got high interest rates. That's why all these houses are sitting on the market. And the second one is extreme weather events. So they're blaming the hurricanes and all that stuff. How about the third one? All these HOAs that are demanding people pay all this money. The article kind of escaped that. And I'm telling you guys, I see listings for houses. Our HOA fee is only $308. It's only been raised this much in the last 5 years. They're advertising that up front with the house to know that they're not going to stick you with it. We have a positive cash flow, all these different things that they're telling people, because you don't think about this. A lot of people don't want to be bothered by the homeowners association in their town. They don't want to deal with these degenerates. Next thing is Starbucks. Starbucks is getting rid of its, quote, open door policy. What's that mean? You can't use the internet. You can't come in if you don't buy anything. And Starbucks, Starbucks always been like that. I've always purchased things when I go there because I've used the internet and things like that for years going there. And again, it's funny, I mentioned, I've had meetings at Starbucks. People go, nothing like a loser that needs people. I'm sorry, if you don't know the person and you're going to have a meeting and they want to interview you or something like that, you tell me where you'd meet them, okay? A Starbucks in a public place is great, okay? But they're getting rid of that. They had a lawsuit in 2018 where two men were accused of all this horrible stuff, and they sued Starbucks because the cameras lied and said, that they were not doing anything nefarious. And that changed their policy to an open door policy. I think it cost them a boatload of money as well. So what do you think about this? I mean, not that you go to Starbucks, not that you want to go there and use the place, but man, this is just, COVID killed everything. It really did. As much as it made things, people not want to be around other people, it also made people not want to go back to work. And JP Morgan, the whole thing with them wanting people back in the office is such a problem. I mean, I cannot imagine jobs where people are not, in the office. We were working on something for a social media company that I'm working on. And one of the companies is like, hey, listen, we're in the European time zone. We work from midnight till 8 a.m. your time. Please don't contact us after hours. And the guy that's running the project for me is like, don't we may not contact you again as a result of this. You know, we don't want, people want to be able to get a hold of people. I'm also a guy that's like, hey, let's sit down and talk about things. That's how I am. But a lot of people just don't want to interact with anybody. Just nuts, you know? So let me know what you think about this so far. I'm going to finish this video with these last couple stories. And one thing that I always thought was preposterous was, would you pay more for a better table? And Deutsche Bank just released something that they weren't supposed to release, and that is about the MGM Hotel, which is Aria, Cosmopolitan, MGM, Excalibur, all these different restaurants that are in those hotels. They're going to charge you more for a better table, which is nuts, guys. Who would pay that? Who would sit there, oh, I want to be by the window. Well, that's $75 more, Dan, for that pass. No one wants that. No one wants that. So have you guys ever paid that? You know, I mean, this all goes to things that have come and gone. It's like, you know, I have had with the holidays this year, hey, you need to, you know, reserve your table. If you're going to reserve your table for 8, we need a deposit of $50 a person, and it gets taken off your check when you get there. That's fine. Stuff like that I'm totally fine with. But this nonsense of paying for a better table is ridiculous. And the other thing is Amazon Prime is going to end their trial with something I'd never heard of, and that is try before you buy. Think about this. Clothes, shoes, accessories. Hey, we'll send it out to you and you can try it on and see if you like it. Then you can pay for it. Who did that? Hey guys, anybody of you heard of that or tried that? That's insane. Because I'm telling you, I dated a woman, and this was 40 years ago. Okay, I was a kid, and she was working at a dating service. We'd walk in and look through a book to pick people out to date. And she told me men would walk in there with a brand new suit. They would get their picture taken and then take the suit back that day, which I always got a kick out of. And I don't want to sit down. I don't want to sit down. I don't want to wrinkle the suit. One guy told her that he tried the suit on in the parking lot, which I'd love to see, because back then they didn't have cameras and stuff like that. So please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You want to get a hold of me, it's hello@iallegedly.com, and I'll see you guys very soon.